Michael, we got a ton of great graphics cards right here. I saw your recent review of the new GTX 1080 Ti, which looks awesome, and then I saw the price.
Yeah, not for the likes of you.
Oh, thanks very much. But I certainly couldn't afford that. So maybe you can talk me through what kind of card I should buy and how much I need to spend.
Yeah, and it's one of the hardest decisions when you're building a PC, I think, is the graphics card, especially if it's a gaming PC, because it is the biggest influencer on gaming performance. Really, think about what you're playing, how much you're willing to spend, and what monitor you're using, and that will start to help you head in a direction of which graphics card to choose.
So you're saying not everyone should go and spend $1,000 on a Titan X?
In an ideal world, no.
So let's start with the budget end of the market. Physically, the smallest card we've got here, this is the GTX 1050 from Nvidia. What's this good for?
It's good for esports. Esports is sort of this woolly phrase for games like Overwatch and Dota and Counter-Strike. It's a really low power card, it's nice and quiet, it doesn't consume much power at all, there's no physical power connectors on the outside of it. It's a budget card for basic games. It's for a PC where the graphics card has either failed or it's just really long in the tooth, you need a bit more memory. It's a really good upgrade which doesn't require any additional components in your PC. It's just a really cheap, good value option.
Is there an AMD version of this? Because we've got a lot of Nvidia cards,
yeah,
we've also got a few AMD.
The 460, RX 460 is actually around £20 cheaper quite frequently. I would personally pay the extra 20 quid if I had it to buy the 1050 because the performance difference I think is enough. But if not, the 460 is a sub £100 card that does a really good job. So for me, the 1050 is the choice at the bottom end of the market.
So moving up a level, we've got the RX 470 here. We've also got the 1050 Ti, a slightly more powerful version of that chip. How do you rank those?
This is another really close battle. So you pay a slight premium for the RX 470, but I do think it's worth it. The price jump is small enough to justify that pretty decent increase in performance. So it's a really good AAA 1080p kind of card.
Which one would you go for out of those two?
I would probably go for the 470, unless I had a compact PC, in which case the 1050 Ti.
Okay, that's good to have a definitive answer. Let's move up a level, because while those are good for 1080p gaming and esports, as you say, they may not be the most powerful to get the best graphical settings at 1080p. And I think this is where the GTX 1060 comes in. What do you make of this?
The 1060 is a great mid-range card. It is a little bit more expensive than perhaps some people would like, but it can handle games at 1440p and brilliantly well at full HD as well. The 3 gig model is competitive.
It's just a good all-rounder, really.
It really is, yeah, and it goes toe-to-toe with the RX 480. It's a really competitive part of the market.
Which one would you go for?
If you had to push me, I'd probably pick a 4 gig 480, but it depends on pricing at any given time. These prices can go pretty high. If you pick a higher end 6 gig 1060 or an 8 gig 480, you can pay in excess of $250, even up to £300, which is a little bit strange. I would never go that far. I'd pay a maximum of $250 for one of these in their top spec.
But I think we agree this is a great 1080p card. But if we were playing at 1440p, Quad HD, or even perhaps the ultra-wide resolutions, we're going to need a bit more power. What would you recommend going for next?
Well, now your options are kind of limited if you're just going for 2016 and 2017 cards. We're looking at the GTX 1070 here. It's brilliant value now. It's about £370 in most retailers, and there are lots of lovely third-party options available, especially there are even some compact ones as well. So it is your best bet for 1440p, and it's the first card I'd actually recommend for VR as well.
Okay, virtual reality, we haven't talked about that much. Anything below that, not really worth it?
I mean, you can try it. The 470 is technically the minimum specification for Oculus Rift. If you're going to commit to VR and buy a £600 headset, then buy at least a £400 graphics card.
So is this where we sort of leave AMD behind until their Vega chips come out later in the year? Are Nvidia dominating the top end of the market right now?
In terms of this year's cards, yes. The 1080 just had a massive price cut down to £500. It leaves it in a kind of weird halfway house. It's really good at playing 4K if you turn down some anti-aliasing and things like that. If you can't spend more on a Ti, which at £700 I could easily imagine not being able to spend much more than that, it's a really good choice.
But if I am playing games at 4K, should I go for the 1080 or the 1080 Ti right now?
The Ti is the only one that can guarantee 60 plus FPS with all your settings turned up in AAA games. If you're willing to compromise,
which I'm not,
then buy the Ti.
And while we're talking about the top end of the market, I can't ignore this beast of a graphics card, the Titan X. Who should buy this?
No one, unfortunately. It costs over £1,000. It has been superseded by the Ti. This is faster in most cases, and it's £300 cheaper. You get the lovely black design on this one.
Looks great.
You're paying for an exclusive design, and that's kind of it.
So are there any rules of thumb when it comes to buying a graphics card?
In the end, higher price means more power. And if you look at the benchmarks for the games you're going to be playing, that's actually what matters. So take this as a starting point and then do a bit more research.
That's a really great point, and that's actually cleared up for me. Thanks very much, Michael. And for more on graphics cards, stay tuned to TrustReviews.com.